This is a great exercise for all athletes to improve a little bit of lat strength as well as core stability in the plank position. Depending on your level of resistance, you're going to be able to utilize KB Powerbands here, grabbing different levels of resistance. For beginners, you want to grab either the yellow or the green bands and work on form first. But just as we weight train, we can progressively add resistance throughout the exercise. Let's jump into a little bit of technique. To begin the plank position, you're going to be on all fours, nice and flat in the back, keeping your butt low. The next thing you need to remember is we need to move away from our working partner to where we get muscle activation from the high position. If the band has slack in it, we're not going to be able to get that activation from the beginning of the rep. So walk apart, get in your plank position, and make sure that band has a little bit of tension before you begin. Next, we're going to drop our hand down towards our side, really working that lat muscle and increasing a lot of stability throughout the hips and our obliques. Make sure you don't shift your hips away to compensate for the load with the resistance bands. We want to stay nice and straight and bring our arm down to the side, keeping our hips nice and flat. Complete 2 to 4 resisted sets with the left and the right hand with about 2 minutes of rest in between. You should challenge yourself with 30 to 40 second active sets. This way we get a lot of reps in and we're really working on that core strength throughout the entire workout. We're going to be trying to get a little bit of upper body stimulation as well as some lower body work in with the KBands and KB Powerbands. Strap on your set of KBands. These are going to be great for giving us a little bit more hip activation as we do our forward and reverse lunges. The KB Powerbands are going to be a dynamic tool for us with 4 levels of resistance. You can add and subtract resistance for whichever level user you are. Notice we're going to be using the wrist straps with the KB Powerbands as well as the handle positioned in the back for the anchor to apply the correct amount of resistance as we move forward and in reverse. This is a simple drill to set up. You're going to be moving through these lunges in about a 10 to 12 yard length in forwards and in reverse. Keep things simple and complete all of your forward sets and then move on to your reverse lunges. Let's dig into the little bit of the technique throughout each of the individual lunges. For the forward lunges, we're going to be moving our arms just slightly in front of our chest line to get a good activation through our shoulders and chest. If you leave your arms too far back, we're going to get pressure in our shoulder. We're going for great stability throughout the core, as well as getting some activation as a great warm-up. Complete long, deep lunges. Short strides are not going to get us anywhere. Short strides are not the way that we want to do them. You want to sink deep in your hips and extend the lunge distance. After you finish about 2 to 4 of these resisted rounds forward, we're now going to go in reverse. You're going to be pulling your hands back in this position a little bit farther. Anchors, keep in mind you're either going to need to lighten up the resistance or subtract some resistance bands so that we can get that great position. We're not going to be in front of our chest line here. We're going to move back in to get a little bit of scap activation. Make sure your hands are not low below the chest. You want to keep them nice and high and squeeze your shoulder blades together. During the reverse lunges, one other thing that we need to watch out for is leaning back with our chest. You don't want to be working against the resistance with your lower back. You want to keep nice tall form as you walk backwards throughout the lunges with just scap activation, no arch in your back. Keep the rest periods to a minimum during this drill as you continually move through each of the resisted rounds. You're going to be working with an anchoring partner who's going to hold on to the KB Powerbands. Remember, we've got 4 levels of resistance, so go ahead and mix and match and find the right level for you to challenge yourself throughout the exercise. Also, you're going to be utilizing your wrist strap found within the KB Powerbands kit. This is going to allow us to sit in that 4-point position and be able to walk free and easy without having any handles in the way. The upper body resistance band should be attached to the outside hand as we start walking across. Before we jump into our first set, you're also going to be utilizing KBands. This is a great way to stimulate your hips and fire your glutes in a stationary 4-point position. By keeping your legs nice and wide, you're going to feel your legs start burning from the minute you move laterally across the ground. The drill setup is going to be simple. Now that you've got your resistance bands on, you're ready to rock. You're going to be slowly walking out 3 to 4 steps, and then you're going to get into a nice balance position, and work with a crossover with your arm. The key is to make sure that your butt doesn't leak up, because this is going to take the stimulation out of our core and leak back where we don't want it to be. Stay nice and flat, rotate across your body, and complete the entire rep. As you finish up the 4 crossovers, you're then going to get stabilized and you're going to walk back to where you started. The key is to make sure that your feet and your hands stay in the same position as you move sideways. You're going to find that upper body resistance is going to slowly pull your shoulders out in front of you. So you've got to work your obliques and make sure you stay in a nice straight line as you move all the way across. To begin this drill, you're going to grab your KB Powerbands set, and we're going to be working with a partner or even a low anchor on a fence. You're going to grab your handles and stack your hands so that we can get in a nice proper position with our hands in close, staying nice and tight so we can rotate and accelerate out. The anchor is going to sit in the low position seated with a nice straight back, chest up, scapulas pulled together with arms straight out in front of them. Now, as the partner rotates, they're going to continually be under resistance. So we're not only going to work on our rotational power on the one side, on the other side, we're going to be focused on stability and really building a good foundation for future rotation drills. Moving into the second partner now, the key is all about building rotational movement out of our legs. You're going to explode and turn the shoelaces over and really drive your hip through, accelerating through the resistance. Now remember, you're going to find this tendency to rotate past the point at which the resistance will help. If you rotate and let the bands roll over your shoulder, you've turned off your core and you're getting more of a pulling motion. We want to keep that band out in front, moving our bodies back behind the resistance slightly to where we've got a straight line to rotate up and have that resistance the entire time in our hands. Mix and match the resistance bands level. This should be challenging. We want to find that right amount of resistance that our partner can maintain proper form while we explosively move. So adding too much resistance here is only going to slow our hands down in the long run. Rotational movements are built from the ground up, so stay focused on blowing through with the hip and then driving through with the hands. Complete about 15 reps before rotating to the other partner. You should keep the pace high here, moving from one to the other about 3 to 4 rounds before moving on to any other drills. It's important that we overload this concept and then move on to something more sports specific. With the KB Powerbands resisted partner rotations, we're going to be able to use a partner style drill in a large group setting or small group based setting to build this core strength. With 4 levels of resistance, you're going to be able to challenge yourself with as much resistance as you can handle, maintaining proper form, or you can drop the resistance and get something a little bit more comfortable for our youth athletes to maintain proper form. You're going to grab your KB Powerbands that come with 2 handles. You're going to pull those out and find the right amount of resistance that you're going to need. You can mix and match or just simply use one resistance band, whatever you need. Now you're going to slide out from your partner, getting in a nice athletic stance, not too squatty. Remember, we want to be in a nice upright position for great rotational movement. If we're hunched over, slouched, or even sliding to one side or the other, we're not going to be in that optimal rotation zone. So we want to be in a nice upright position, balanced with our feet just outside of our armpits in a nice athletic stance. Now we're going to drive our hands forward but squeeze our shoulder blades together. It's important that we don't really reach out so far as to slouch our shoulders, but almost pinch your shoulder blades at the bottom and focus on extending your arms while in this nice position. Now that we've got our proper form, we're going to start working into the drill. As you move into your active set now, you're going to continue maintaining equal and opposite resistance, rotating at the same time, keeping that stability and strength in our hips and core. You're going to feel a great burn throughout your obliques as well as your hips, trying to keep your body stable throughout the resistance. We can complete this drill in the flat-footed position or take a slight rotation with the foot, but the key is that we make sure that we don't let the band lay across our chest and our shoulder. We want to keep that resistance straight across into the other anchor as throughout the entire drill. Complete about 3 to 4 sets of this, and then we're going to move into the seated position. We're going to take the hips out of the equation and keep it all in our core, trying to maintain that stable position and nice proper arm positioning. Again here, the key is to think about the scap, bring it together, and keep your arms extended with a nice chest position. This is a great sequence to throw in about 3 to 4 resisted sets of each at the end of your practice. This is a great drill we like to do with our athletes to help them work on their stability as far as functional strength goes and work on our external rotations throughout 3 different areas. To begin this position, we're going to grab our KB Powerbands and work with 2 handles. We've mentioned in other videos some of our stable positions and our static holds to work on our core strength. Well, we're going to do a little bit more of that here today. Partner 1's going to be holding the resistance out in front of their bodies in a nice stable position for their hips and core, maintaining a static hold to increase a little bit of core strength. Now our other partner is going to be moving through a variation of shoulder exercises. We're going to be first working with a standing position with a low external rotation. A great way to keep proper form here is to either stick a towel or even your arm high in your armpit so that you can work through a rotation that doesn't allow a chicken wing effect. We don't want to drop our body back. We want to maintain great form and only keep it in the shoulder with the rotation. We take a 3-second count back from where we came from so that we can build strength and stability throughout the deceleration process. Work through about 8 to 10 reps, and then we're going to move over and face the partner. Slide your elbow up in a nice alignment to where you're even with your shoulder in the proper rotating area that we're going to be throwing in. You're going to place your hand up, having the handle up, and rotating back in a nice, easy form. Again, we want to limit the amount of the chicken wing effect we have. We don't want to be leaning, working for more range of motion. You're really trying to externally rotate and come back where you came from with those 3 to 4 second decelerations. As you finish up another 8 to 10 reps, complete the same on the other arm so that we can maintain equal and opposite effects here. As you finish up the series with both partners, we're now going to move into a second phase that's going to be a little bit different. We will have a seated partner maintaining that great form with extended arms, while the other partner is going to do an extended side lunge, bringing in some of that core strength for our rotational stabilizers. You're going to stride out, maintaining your center, and then you're going to rock through, extending the arm out, and then slowly decelerating while we maintain control in our core. As you lunge out, you want to maintain complete control, sliding your arm up in a great throwing arm position in a straight line and then decelerating as you stride back. The motion here is going to combine both the throwing element of striding out and maintaining control with the shoulder. Here we'll be moving through 8 to 10 reps as well. Keep these things easy, nice and simple, same rep ranges, and move through the sequence quickly. Be sure that anchors are rotating sides, flipping the position at which they're facing so that we get stability on both sides of our core. This is a great way to begin any type of a practice, getting great muscle activation throughout our shoulder for safe throwing habits, as well as getting your core fired up for any of the rotational movements we'll be doing. Complete about 2 to 3 rounds of this for a great warm-up before you jump into your workouts with the KB Powerbands. As you complete this drill, or if you need a set of KB Powerbands, head to KBandsTraining.com and dive into the baseball videos section. We've got a great list of sports-specific drills and demos there that are going to help you with your training now.